You know that feeling when a whole bunch of different ideas or stories you've heard suddenly kind of click together and you see this bigger picture, this blueprint you didn't realize was there. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got this collection of insights that really form an architecture for authentic leadership and for sustainable success too. And we're not just talking about like managing a team at work. This is deeper. It's about leading your own life with purpose, with real impact. We've pulled together some fascinating quotes, some sharp observations, and actually a really powerful story. And they all point towards these core principles. So our mission today, let's unpack these nuggets, connect the dots, and help you see how these lessons, which are pretty timeless, honestly, can apply to your own journey, whether that's, handling a tricky project, working on yourself, or just trying to be a better, more effective person day to day. This is for you. Okay, let's get into it. We kick off with this really interesting idea from Laird Hamilton, the surfer. He says, that which enhances performance will prevent injury.
Now, first hearing that, it sounds like advice for, extreme sports, right?
Totally. Like get stronger, get better technique, don't wipe out. Simple.
Yeah, but the way it applies to just our daily lives, our work strategy is huge,
Right.
much broader than just physical safety.
Exactly. Think about having real strategic clarity. That clarity, that's the performance enhancer. But for everything you do, when your strategy is super clear, it's not just, okay, here's the goal. It actually builds this protective buffer.
A bucker, how so?
Well, for you, it means you stop wasting effort on stuff that doesn't matter. You're not just reacting all the time. It prevents that kind of chaos that comes when you lack direction. It's like, think about a well-built bridge. It doesn't just get cars across, right? It's designed to handle storms, stress, wear and tear. Its performance is its protection. Strategic clarity works the same way. Prevents organizational injuries.
Okay, strategic clarity as like preventative maintenance for your efforts. I like that. But here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit uncomfortable. Seth Godin points out this paradox. Once we actually get clear, simplify, and commit to a useful strategy, well, that creates its own problems.
Yeah.
He says we often hide from these strategies. Why would we do that?
Yeah, it's a deep insight into us, isn't it? Because a clear strategy, it gets rid of all that comfy ambiguity, no more wiggle room.
Yeah.
And it forces us to face, as Godin puts it, two kind of terrifying possibilities.
Terrifying. Okay, what are they?
First one's pretty straightforward. Failure, but now you're accountable. If you commit, you say, this is the way, and it doesn't work. It's on you. No hiding.
Right. No blaming the fog.
Exactly. The second one is maybe even more subtle, more unsettling. It's the fear of success, actually. The fear that success will change us. Godin asks, basically, are we ready to become the person or the organization that succeeds with this strategy? That takes real emotional labor,
Really?
Staying the course, dealing with the new pressures. It takes time, real effort.
Huh.
And often we kind of prefer the devil we know, right? The familiar pain of things not quite working is sometimes easier than stepping into the unknown of committed action and what that might bring. So it makes you ask yourself, doesn't it? What status quo are you holding on to? What comfortable inefficiency are you protecting? Maybe without even realizing it, that a truly useful strategy would force you to confront. What part of yourself are you maybe afraid to outgrow?
Wow. That idea of being afraid to outgrow yourself, that resonates. You see leaders who say they want clarity, but always fall back into meetings about meetings.
Right. And it's not always just fear of change. Sometimes it's just comfort. The familiar rut feels safe, even if it's not getting you anywhere. It's easier to do the strategic theater, mission statement workshops, endless task lists than to make the hard choices and stick to them.
So Gooden really nails it. Strategy isn't the goal. It's not the to-do list. It's the choices, the hard choices we make, and then crucially stick with.
Exactly. Sticking with it is key. And that's tough because even with a clear strategy, the day-to-day execution is, well, it's messy. It's never perfect. Which brings us to another really key piece of this architecture. Might sound weird at first. To find success, set the bar low. Today will not be perfect and nobody's going to get out of your way.
Okay, set the bar low. That sounds counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're aiming high. How does that help you, the listener? What's the wisdom there?
It's incredibly wise, actually. It's about setting the bar low for daily execution. Not your overall ambition, keep that high, but for the day-to-day. Except it won't be perfect.
Okay. So accept the imperfection of the process.
Precisely. You accept that today specifically won't be flawless. Stuff will go wrong, obstacles pop up, people get in your way, sometimes unintentionally. By accepting that daily reality up front while still holding on to your big long-term commitment, you build momentum that lasts. You avoid burnout.
Right, because you're not constantly beating yourself up for every little thing that goes sideways.
Exactly. It builds resilience. It's like laying bricks. Some might be a little crooked, but you keep laying them, trusting the overall plan, the overall structure. You don't stop building because one brick isn't perfect.
That makes so much sense. Sustainable effort over chasing impossible daily perfection. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about how this leadership architecture isn't just about strategy, but deeply about the human side. There's this amazing story about Greg Popovich, the NBA coach, and his assistant, Mike Brown. Mike was going through a tough time, a separation. His kids were visiting, and when it was time for them to leave, they were at the airport, crying, begging to stay longer with their dad. Mike felt terrible.
Yeah, a really tough spot for any parent.
So he calls Coach Popovich,
Yeah.
explains the situation, and kind of tentatively asks, Coach, can we maybe hold the team plane for just a few minutes?
And Popovich's reaction, it's legendary. He basically tells Brown, if you get on this plane, you're fired. Yeah. He insisted Brown stay with his kids for 3 more days. He said the team would travel without him if they had to. Think about the courage that takes as a leader in high-stakes pro sports. To prioritize the human need, the family connection over the immediate logistics, the schedule, the game.
It's incredible. Just imagine being Mike Brown in that moment. The loyalty that must inspire.
Absolutely. It wasn't just being nice. It was a strategic investment in his people.
Yeah.
It showed profound empathy.
It makes me think about times maybe I felt pressured to put work first when something important was happening personally. The guilt from that, it sticks with you. What Popovich did, it connects straight to this other idea. Other people are trying to do this too. Everyone around us, right? Colleagues, employees, bosses.
Exactly. They all have lives, complex lives. They're balancing family, health, finances, just like you are. They're trying to figure it all out too.
Popovich understood that. He knew that supporting Mike Brown's relationship with his kids actually made the whole team, the whole organization, stronger in the long run.
Leaders who get that, who make those human-centered calls, they build this deep, authentic commitment. It goes way beyond just doing your job. People give their best when they feel seen and valued as whole humans.
That trust, that bond, is priceless. Now, building on this human element, Simon Sinek offers some really sharp points here. He says, leaders don't complain about what's not working. Leaders celebrate what is working and work to amplify it. That feels like a big mental shift for a lot of places.
It really is. It moves you from constantly focusing on problems, on deficits, to looking for assets. What is working? What strengths can we build on? When you do that, you create an environment where people feel safer. Safer to try things, to contribute fully without fearing constant criticism if something isn't perfect right away.
Less fear, more contribution. Makes sense.
And Sinek argues the real measure of a leader isn't just what they get done, it's the work they inspire others to do.
Yeah.
So the question for you listening is, how are you amplifying the good stuff around you, in your team, your family, wherever you have influence? Are you actively looking for successes to build on?
And Sinek pushes this even further. He challenges the typical top-down view of leadership. He asks, who inspires you? And then says, the followers, not the visionary, bring the vision to life. Visionaries need followers as much as followers need a vision. That really highlights the two-way street nature of it all.
Absolutely. It shows leadership is fundamentally about relationship. It's reciprocal. Effective leaders know they depend entirely on their teams to make things happen. Without people who are inspired and willing to do the work, the best vision is just an idea on paper. So leaders need to build that mutual respect, that shared ownership.
So it's about finding a vision that inspires people, but also recognizing you need those people.
Right. And for you, it's also about finding a vision, a leader, a team that inspires you, something you believe in enough to pour your energy into, to follow.
Okay, so we're building this architecture. We need strategy. We need humanity. What about learning? How do we keep building and improving? Let's bring in Confucius. Ancient wisdom, but still so relevant. He talked about 3 ways we learn wisdom: reflection, imitation, and experience.
Yeah, these are like the structural supports for the whole thing, essential. First, reflection. Confucius called it the noblest way. And this ties right back to Godin, doesn't it? Taking time to step back, think deeply, assess your choices, see the patterns. It's that deliberate thinking that strengthens your design.
Okay, reflection. Got it. What's next?
Second, imitation. He called this the easiest way. And this connects to Sinek followers needing a vision, leaders inspiring. We learn constantly by watching others who do things well. We model them, pick up best practices, like studying great architecture to inform your own building.
Learn from the best. Makes sense. And the third?
Third, experience. And
Wow.
Confucius called this one the bitterest way.
Bitterest. Ouch.
Yeah, because this is where theory hits reality. It's messy, it's hands-on, it often involves making mistakes, failing, learning the hard way through direct consequences. This is where your architecture gets stress-tested in the real world.
That bitterest part
Mm.
leads right into another insight from Edward Tenner. He said, sometimes things can go right only by first going very wrong. That feels directly connected to learning through tough experience.
It's such a powerful idea for building resilience, isn't it? It reframes failure completely. It says failure isn't the end. Sometimes it's actually a necessary step towards success, like think about scientists testing a new drug. Early trials often fail, they have setbacks, but each failure teaches them something vital, leading eventually to a breakthrough.
Or like trying to solve a really hard puzzle, and you realize you have to take a whole section apart to make progress.
Exactly. That acceptance that things might need to go wrong first allows you to keep going through setbacks. You don't abandon your strategy just because you hit a wall. You see the wrong turn as data, as part of the process. It turns failure from this scary thing into just feedback.
Okay, so strategy, humanity, learning through reflection, imitation, and even those bitter experiences. What holds it all together day to day? This observation from R. Collier feels like the mortar between the bricks. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Sounds simple, maybe obvious, but maybe not.
It sounds simple, but it's where the rubber meets the road. It connects everything else. That big, clear strategy we talked about, it only happens through daily choices. That empathetic leadership, built through small, consistent acts of connection and support. Learning, it accumulates moment by moment.
So it counters that feeling of being overwhelmed by the big picture.
Precisely. It breaks it down. It answers Godin's point about hiding from responsibility. How do you handle the weight of a big strategy? One small, consistent step at a time. Think about building something huge, like a cathedral. It wasn't one giant effort. It was countless craftspeople laying one stone, then another day after day. Each small effort, aligned with the plan, adds up. It makes the daunting achievable through sheer consistency.
The power of compound effort. I like that. And then, layered on top of this daily effort, John Wesley offers this really expansive moral framework. He said, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. That's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's not just about, charity work. It's a recognition that lasting success, especially leadership success, comes from serving something bigger than just yourself or your immediate goals. It connects your daily efforts, your strategy, your interactions to a wider purpose. It asks, is this contributing positively? Is this building something good in the world? It provides a kind of ethical compass for the whole architecture.
Okay, so we've got all these big pieces: strategy, empathy, learning, daily effort, purpose. How do we make this practical? Like right now, for you listening, what's a tool you can use immediately? There's a simple question, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
What can you appreciate in this moment?
And this isn't just like feel-good positive thinking. It's actually a strategic tool, a mindset shifter.
How is appreciation strategic?
Because it deliberately shifts your focus. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, what's missing, the problems, you actively look for what is working. What resources do you have? What small wins happened? Who helped out? It moves you from complaining to seeing possibilities, from being reactive to problems to proactively looking for opportunities and leverage points. Even appreciating the lesson from a setback gives you power.
It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you see the tools you have, not just the obstacle.
Exactly. It unlocks energy and perspective, a really practical way to apply these bigger ideas in the here and now.
So wrapping this up, we've really sketched out quite an architecture here, haven't we? For authentic leadership, for success that lasts. It seems built on that foundation of strategic clarity, but needs the flexibility of human connection and empathy. It's powered by pushing ourselves to be excellent, but also serving others. Having a big vision, but also the humility for the daily grind.
And that willingness, that courage, really, to accept that failure, things going wrong, that's part of the path. Not a detour, but part of the journey itself. All these pieces support each other. And maybe the most vital thread running through it all is remembering that everyone around you is also trying to figure this stuff out. Your colleagues, your family, your customers, they're all juggling demands, trying to do good work, trying to stay true to what matters.
Yeah. Seeing that shared struggle really changes things, doesn't it? Leadership becomes less about being in charge and more about service, connection.
It shifts the whole dynamic.
So for you listening, taking all this in, what's the big takeaway? What does it mean for you right now?
Maybe the biggest thing is realizing you have more power, more agency than you might think. The choice to show up with clarity, the choice to act with empathy, the choice to learn from experience, the choice to appreciate. These choices are always available, regardless of your job title, regardless of your circumstances. You don't need permission to start building this architecture within yourself and your sphere of influence.
It's not about grand gestures. It's built from those daily choices, right? Choices that honor the big plan, but also honor our shared humanity. So the question we leave it with is, what's one specific daily choice you'll make today? One small brick you'll lay to start building, or maybe reinforcing, your architecture for authentic leadership and lasting impact.